There was a boy. He had dreams once, big ones, the kind that made his heart race when he closed his eyes at night. But somewhere along the way, he stopped dreaming big. He started thinking small. Small goals, small efforts, small expectations. And life gave him exactly what he asked for. Small results. He told himself it was okay. He told himself he was being realistic. But deep down, in the silence of his room, he felt it, that heavy feeling, like he was living half a life, like he was capable of more, but too afraid to reach for it. This is not just his story. This is the story of everyone who ever shrank their dreams to fit their fear. And this is the story of what happens when you finally stop thinking small. His name was Cooper, 23 years old, living in a small town, working at a local grocery store, stacking shelves, counting change, going home tired, every single day. He wasn't unhappy, but he wasn't alive either. He was just existing. Cooper had dreams once. He wanted to start his own business. He wanted to travel. He wanted to write a book. He wanted to be someone people looked up to. But every time he thought about it, a voice in his head would whisper, "Who are you to think that big? People like you don't do things like that. You don't have the money, you don't have the connections, you don't have the talent." And slowly, quietly, Cooper started to believe it. He stopped thinking about his big dreams. He started thinking about safer things, smaller things, things that didn't require risk, things that didn't require courage. He told himself, "I'll save a little money first. I'll wait for the right time. I'll start when I'm ready." But the right time never came. And deep down, Cooper knew why. He wasn't waiting for the right time. He was waiting for permission. Permission from the world to think bigger than his circumstances. But the world doesn't give that permission. You have to take it. One evening, after another long shift, Cooper sat on a bench outside the store. He watched people walk by. Some looked successful, confident, purposeful. Others looked just like him. Tired, lost, going through the motions. He pulled out his phone and scrolled. Videos of people his age doing incredible things, starting companies, traveling the world, writing books, speaking on stages. And for a moment, he felt inspired. But then the voice came back. "They're different. They had help. They got lucky. You're not like them." Cooper put his phone away. He went home. He ate dinner in silence. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, and he asked himself a question he'd been avoiding for years. Is this it? Is this all my life is going to be? The thought broke something inside him, not in a loud, dramatic way, but in a quiet, painful way, like a crack in glass that spreads slowly. He realized he had been lying to himself. He wasn't being realistic, he was being a coward. He wasn't protecting himself from failure. He was protecting himself from trying, and that hurt more than any failure ever could. The next morning, something unusual happened. An old man walked into the store. He didn't look like the usual customers. He was dressed simply, but there was something about him, the way he carried himself, calm, certain, present. He picked up a few items and came to the counter. Cooper scanned them without looking up. But then the old man said something. "You look like someone who's thinking too small." Cooper froze. He looked up, confused. "Excuse me?" The old man smiled gently. "Your hands are moving, but your mind is somewhere else. I can see it in your eyes. You're not here. You're stuck in your head, thinking small thoughts." Cooper didn't know what to say. The old man continued, "Let me ask you something. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do with your life?" Cooper opened his mouth to answer, but no words came out, because the truth was, he didn't know anymore. He had buried his big dreams so deep, he couldn't even remember what they felt like. The old man leaned in slightly. "You want to know the secret to a big life?" Cooper nodded slowly. "It's not talent, it's not money, it's not luck. It's this: you have to think big before you can live big. Most people wait to think big until after they have success, but it doesn't work that way. Thinking big is what creates success. Your thoughts are the blueprint. If the blueprint is small, the building will be small." Cooper felt something shift inside him. The old man paid for his items and turned to leave. But before he walked out, he said one last thing. The size of your life is determined by the size of your thinking. So ask yourself, what are you really afraid of? Failing big or succeeding small? And then he was gone. That night, Cooper couldn't sleep. The old man's words echoed in his mind. What are you really afraid of? Failing big or succeeding small? He sat up in bed, he grabbed a notebook, and for the first time in years, he wrote down his real dreams. Not the safe ones, not the realistic ones, the big ones, the ones that scared him. Starting a business that could change lives, writing a book that could inspire thousands, traveling to places he'd only seen in pictures, becoming someone his younger self would be proud of. As he wrote, something happened. He felt alive again, not because the dreams were guaranteed, but because they were his. He realized something powerful. Thinking small didn't protect him from pain. It just guaranteed a different kind of pain. The pain of regret, the pain of wondering what if, the pain of living a life that felt too small for his soul. He decided right then, he would rather fail trying to build something big than succeed at living small. The next day, Cooper started differently. He didn't quit his job. He didn't make some grand announcement. But inside, something had shifted. He started waking up an hour earlier. He started reading books about business, mindset, growth. He started writing every night. He started thinking bigger, not just about what he wanted, but about who he needed to become. He realized thinking big wasn't about being unrealistic. It was about being honest. Honest about what he was truly capable of. Honest about the fact that he had been playing small out of fear, not wisdom. And slowly, his actions started to match his thinking. He saved money with purpose. He learned skills with intention. He built connections with courage. He stopped waiting for permission. He gave it to himself. Months passed. Cooper's life didn't change overnight, but it changed. He launched a small online business. It struggled at first, but he kept going. He started writing and sharing his thoughts. Not many people read them at first, but he kept going. He applied for opportunities that felt too big for him. He got rejected, but he kept going, because he understood something now. Thinking big wasn't about guarantees, it was about possibility. When you think small, you close doors before you even try to open them. When you think big, you give yourself a chance. And sometimes, that's all you need, a chance. One day, Cooper saw the old man again, at the same store. He walked up to him with gratitude in his eyes. "Thank you. What you said, it changed everything." The old man smiled. "I didn't change anything. You did. I just reminded you of what you already knew." Most people spend their whole lives thinking small because they're afraid of disappointing others. But the biggest disappointment is disappointing yourself. You only get one life. Don't waste it building a small version of what could have been something great. Cooper nodded. He understood now. The power wasn't in the circumstances. The power was in the thinking. Big thinking creates big actions. Big actions create big results. But it all starts in the mind. So let me ask you, right now, as you listen to this, what are you thinking about your life? Are you thinking small because it feels safe? Are you shrinking your dreams to fit your fear? Are you waiting for permission that will never come? Or are you ready to think bigger? Not because it's easy, but because you deserve a life that feels as big as your potential. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to start thinking like the person you want to become. Think bigger than your past. Think bigger than your doubts. Think bigger than the voice that says you're not ready. Because the truth is, you'll never feel ready for something big. You just have to think big anyway, and then take the first step. That's how every great life begins. Not with certainty, but with courage. Not with permission, but with vision. So today, right now, Choose to think bigger. Your life is waiting.